I think life has lessons that are repeated until you learn them. So a lot of people, the same thing keeps happening to them over and over and over again. They don't really understand why, because they're not learning the lesson. I think the biggest blessing that I've had from the lessons that I had in life is that everything worth acquiring in life is extremely difficult, and that everything that is either worthless or of little value is extremely easy. And human nature is such that people choose the easy path. And I mean, obviously, there's hadiths about ما خير بين أمرين إلا اختار أيسرهما. The understanding of yusr for pre-modern people is very different from the understanding of yusr for modern people, because just life on itself was very difficult. Whereas today, life is very easy, but internally it's much harder. In the past, the outward of life was very, very difficult, but the internal experience of life was a lot easier. And these are really a type of justice, I think, divine justice. Every age has its tribulations and trials. So for me, that's just something that I've seen, that those things that are really worthwhile are very difficult. They take a lot of time to acquire, and people, I think, waste their lives. A lot of people really waste time, the amount of time, and we're all time wasters. I mean, it's the human condition. Innal insana lafi khusr. Human beings are at a loss. Well, the loss is time itself, because that hadith, that ayah is wal asri, swearing by time. And even if you look at the Arabic word asara yasiru, the verb means to squeeze. And that's what time does to us. It squeezes us. Even to say it, you have to squeeze the ain letter. You know, you have to squeeze your throat in a way to produce that sound. And that's what time does. It squeezes all of us. And the Prophet ﷺ, when he first got the revelation, he was squeezed 3 times until he thought he was going to burst. So that's part of life, is that God will squeeze us so that we respond appropriately. And I think people just too often ignore those signs.
Is hardship misconstrued? I mean, I look at my life, and anything hard that I went through shaped me the person who I am today.
All of physical well-being comes from resistance, right? You have to resist food that's not good for you, right? And then you have to actually do physical resistance. So you have to use weights, and that's how you build the muscle. And the same spiritually. You're going to come up against things that you have to struggle with, but those things are going to fashion and form you. And then the other thing I think that's really useful is, because I lived with Bedouin for 7 years, and the Mauritanian Bedouin that I lived with are called Zawaya. They are unique amongst Aboriginal peoples in that they're the only scholastic nomads. So they have a great tradition of scholarship, but what they really taught me is that you don't need anything in this world. Homeless people teach you that you don't need anything in the world to survive. Like, you really can survive on very little. And we accumulate stuff. The more stuff you accumulate, the more time you waste, because stuff takes time. And so that zuhud is actually a type of intelligence, of just, recognizing what's important, what's valuable, what's really valuable.